We focus on the state of the economy and more specifically the report by the Controller of Budget on how President William Ruto performed in his maiden budget. That is our financial year 2023-2024. But before getting to that, we'll begin first of all with what is on our dailies this morning. And in studio, I'm joined by Honorable Marian Kitani, seated on my immediate right. She is the Aldai Member of Parliament. Thank you so much for getting time.
Thank you.
Last time you were here, it was heated.
It was chaos.
And also Ruth Kinyanjui, an economist, seated right in the middle, and as well Honorable Shakil Shabir, who is the Kisumu East Member of Parliament. Now, we begin with what splashed on the Standard newspaper this morning. Proposed revenue law raises a storm. The Council of Governors has raised objection to the proposal by the Commission for Revenue Allocation to reduce the weight of population while increasing that of land in its revenue sharing formula that will see 24 counties lose billions. The losers there: Mandera, 2.19 billion Kenya shillings, Kakamega, 1.38 billion Kenya shillings, Kilifi, 1.1 billion Kenya shillings, Kwale, 908 million, Bungoma, Meru, Narok, Nairobi, Machakos, and Nakuru to be affected. 24 counties that will see their revenue drop by cumulative 12 billion Kenya shillings. The winners: Marsabit County, Turkana, Kajiado, Garissa, Laikipia, Busia, Bomet, Isiolo, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Taita Taveta. And so 33% is the population weight. The new formula says population of a county carries a weight of 33% in the sharing. And also 23 counties are actually the number of counties that will gain between 2.3 billion Kenya shillings and 55 million. The poverty level is 23%. If a county is rated lowly in the poverty index, it stands to gain more. Honorable Marian Kitani, on this proposed revenue law by CRA.
Thank you very much, Joel Chacha. I know the last time I was here, it was a very interesting debate. However, on this proposal by CRA, I think one thing that we need to understand and consider is that we are guided by the Constitution of Kenya. And Constitution of Kenya, Article 10, actually mentions about equitability in terms of sharing of revenue across all sectors of government, be it national government, county government, legislature, judiciary, because every sector of government has to get equitable share of revenue, equitable resources, equitable everything. So coming to the formula that CRA has been using and the changes they want to make, looking at what they are considering, they have considered poverty index, which I think is a very critical component because we are now about 12, 13 years into devolution. And we expect the poverty index to have gone up or to have improved within that period of time, because with the revenues that have gone to counties, we expect a lot of development and business growth and industrialization and all those kind of things. But that is not the case, because if you look at many places where we come from, the situation is even maybe worse than before devolution came in because of the way monies are being spent. So when we now bring in the issue of poverty index, I think that alone will not solve the situation. We also need to look at the geographical distances. Nairobi County, for example, is a very small county, but the population is very huge. And with this population, you have a very big population that live below the $1 a day, the normal rate. But if you look at a county like Turkana, it's very vast. Again, with the population in Turkana is far lower than if you compare it with Nairobi. But at the same time, that person in Turkana who require services because they have to maybe walk long distances or get long distances to get medical cover, to get education, to get all these basic services that are required. Because again, the Constitution talks about the basic services that must be given to a human being. And the basic services is food, shelter, clothing, education, and healthcare. And therefore, even when CRA are looking at all these factors, they have to consider that this human being who has to walk 20 or so kilometers or 10 kilometers to get medical care, that medical care needs to move closer to them. And therefore, in their calculation, they have to consider all those factors. And I know because we have all lived in a comfort zone, nobody always wants to be deducted money, and others who are going to get want to see how they are going to enrich their pockets. I think it is about time that we not only move into how revenue is going to be allocated, but more importantly, how is it utilized? Because we need to actually improve the areas that we come from, because that is where the biggest problem is. Because we expected now, heading to 15 years, devolution should have done wonders. But the truth of the matter is a far cry from what we really expected as Kenyans.
And now to Honorable Shakil Shabir on, you know, this revenue sharing formula that has been proposed by CRA. There, you know, even the Deputy President at some point has been championing for the 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. Which way to go?
Firstly, our colonial masters started this disparity, equity, as my sister says, and my MP, is more...
Or by your MP, you mean where you come from Aldai?
Yes, he comes.
I can put it on TV. I live in my home is in her, one of my homes is in her constituency.
Yes,
one of your homes, you're a polygam.
No, I'm very much a single lady man. However, I think you see that was came in under the equity, under the equation of colonialism, where it was within the railway, 100 kilometers or 50 kilometers. Was taken, and they looked at the issue of getting the maximum number of people, certain services who were within the area of interest. That was taken over by sessional paper number 10, I think, and others that we tried to bring in devolution at that stage. This particular issue of revenue should not be such an issue. You know, it appears that the governors are fighting for everything and every way. I was on the CKRC, the Constitutional Review Committee, since since the year 2000, and we fought through some of these issues. Firstly, we cannot afford, should never have had 47 counties.
Agreed.
That was a mess.
Agreed.
And it was they were only in Parliament. We fought for this. I think Mata Karo, I give credit to her and a few others. We were really fought for this. And
so how many counties should we have?
8,
ideally,
10.
it was meant to be in the constitution that we had set up.
10.
9, I think 8 or 9, and they were regional.
Yes.
And then the regional
Provinces, the former provinces?
Yes.
That's correct. And then what was going to happen thereafter was, as you were elected as a MCA or a councillor, you would come in by way of election, election. You would elect the next level and next level. So the so-called counties now would have been sub-counties, and the money would have been sent directly to the region. And I think my dear sister, who's an economist, understands these facts. And you know, when America is such a huge place, and how many counties are 50?
55.
So 55, and you go to, this was a recipe of disaster. I was the mayor of Kisumu. And this issue, firstly, about, I want to take my hat off to CRA, and of course the Auditor General. We have a gem of an Auditor General here. The point is, on what basis do you get paid? Do you get your revenue? So it must be a basis of performance, a basis of maybe 1 man, 1 vote, or whatever, the maximum you can provide. If at home, your wife and your family, you have a budget and you cannot have everything, this cup of tea, the father may find less milk in it because the child is to be given more. That is what we want, development. Now, equity is also from that point of view, that also there are our brothers and sisters in the northeastern, etc., who have not got, and they must get, and they must get. However, what is the utility value?
Yes.
If you put a level 6 hospital in Garissa, or not Garissa, even should be one in Garissa, maybe further on, where there Murthy, where there is no utility on this thing. That doesn't make sense. So that's one. The second point is that in the Constitution as well as in practice, economic practice as well, and the Auditor General has stated it, the CRA has stated it, you must depend on own source revenue.
So counties should generate enough.
Yes.
Those counties who do well on own source revenue should be
Given more.
should be given some reward, rather than because I am poor, I have got a 100 million mansion in the middle of somewhere, and there are many. Instead of a hospital or something, I should be given more because I'm a county. I want this and that. The issue that we have, even in the Council of Governors, sometimes I wonder on what basis they meet. And I've been a mayor of Kisumu. I'm saying to you for a fact, and I can prove it, that when I was the mayor of Kisumu in the year 2000, 2004, we were earning from 1 million shillings a day. 1 million shillings a day. 360 million shillings a year. 1/3 of what the county is right now. 24 years ago. 1 million.
And the value was lower then.
And now they're not even getting $1 billion, not even less than $1 billion. And do you understand me?
Yeah.
So what basis the Auditor General is saying, and I know for a fact, all that the poor 190 from my area, especially from the Kajulu Hills, we carry food down and we are charged 100 bob. And where does all that money go?
Well, let's now
it is not accounted for. Let me finish, please. It is not accounted for. You've opened 250 accounts. Now, hold on a second. You can't
even reconcile them.
You can't be. If you want justice, you must be just. If you want truth, you must be truthful. Some of these counties which have opened 200 accounts, 150 accounts, it doesn't make sense. I was the mayor of Kisumu, we had one account. So there's something, corruption, and I chair corruption, anti-corruption, the African Parliamentarians Against Corruption. We want to go down to the counties. You can't do this. You can't say we need more money so that I can go make 100 million shilling mention. Sorry.
Let's now involve Ruth Kinyanjui, an economist. According to the Council of Governor Chair, that is Honorable Her Excellency Anne Waiguru.
You see, that in itself, sorry to say, that in itself is an anomaly. You know, we put these people like excellency. We don't need 47 presidents. Governor should be called governor, not excellency. What's the problem here?
So, Honorable Shakil, you will never vie to become governor at some point.
No, I do not intend to be a governor.
Ruth,
yes.
You know, according to Kirinyaga governor, also the COG chair, you know, she says that recommendations for the proposed formula is that in any case and upon implementation of the new allocation criteria, no county shall receive less than the allocation it received in the financial year 2024-2025, based on the equitable share.
I think I'm just listening, and the fact that the conversation has started on a very high gear. And maybe just to continue from where Honorable Shakil has left, you see, I can give an example, say, of an eagle. An eagle, when he looks at his eaglets and they can't fly, they normally take them up somewhere and let them down so that they can start learning to fly. And I think, Chacha, one of the things that you have to see when we look at counties, I think one of the things counties never did, they never learned to fly, and they do not want to fly. And that's actually why there's an over-reliance in the money that they have to be given by the the national government. Why am I saying so? I've studied closely the kind of products that counties sell, and I can tell you what I have seen is that there is almost more than duplication from one county to the other. Whatever this county is charging as their revenue, whether it's in their parking, it is in their rates, it is in their whatever, the other counties is what they are doing. But apparently all these counties are not equal or are not the same in terms of the resources that they have as a county, or even exploitation of the resources that they already have. And you will see, actually, even from the movement of one governor to the other, in terms of broadening that, can I call it broadening the revenue base for themselves or for their specific counties? There is none. And that is why maybe Mheshimiwa is asking, where do some of this revenue go? Because counties cannot be seen not to be self-sustainable. And the reason why we are saying that even there is no development or there is no uplifting of common mwananchi in those counties, Honorable Marian has said, is because that they are not keen into that. They are keen into looking to the national government and really influencing what is going to be given to them by the national government. But we haven't seen actually even today, even as we are saying, Chacha, from the what the chair of the COG is saying, what they are doing from an improvement perspective as COG to bring more into book. We go back to the constitution, making of the constitution in 2010, and there was no and yes, and we know the current president was in the no. Is it the right time to amend some of these things and especially bring region? Because as we are saying, all these things have not served. How many years later? Almost 15, 14 years later, the devolution has not served the common mwananchi. Look at the suffering when it comes to, especially to the health sector, which has really gone overboard and done so badly, and especially when the needs of the people cannot properly be served. So even by the time we are coming to ask for revenue, then what is that money also doing? Is there an accountability? When we look at the COG, what she's actually saying, can we see more accountability? Because she's saying she's saying we need to audit. They need to audit from where the money is being remitted to where it is to the destination, and whether it's doing what it's supposed to do. We haven't seen that reconciliation. The other thing also, I think I will fault the governors, is even as they are being rated from the high performing to the low performing, is the fact that when it comes to them being accountable, they become very rigid. They really don't want to really put that in order. But one thing that I have seen, Chacha, is that exploitation of resources and revenue areas that can bring counties money, they do not want to do that. Well, and I wish they can concentrate on that.
On the People Daily.
Allow me, just before you go to the People Daily, allow me to say something there that is very critical. You know, this mwananchi is taxed by the governor for maybe goods that he's transporting, like for example, from Aldai to Kisumu. He'll be taxed in Aldai, he'll be taxed in Kisumu. The same mwananchi is will be taxed at the national level. For when they sell the goods, they pay VAT, they pay income tax. So that is why you find this mwananchi is really crying and saying, I'm being overtaxed. But the question is, if that tax was going into helping you improve your services, improve your roads, improve your infrastructure, the markets and everything, that will make sense. But now when this money is being taxed, again you start asking yourself, then where is this money going? Because governors are generating money, but when you look at the monies they've generated, there is no money. Like what Honorable Shakil has mentioned, when he was mayor 20-something years ago, when the value of shilling was lower, he was collecting more money than is being collected today. And that is across board in almost every county, because all those counties were municipalities or county councils or town councils. But they were collecting more revenue.
Actually, just to touch on that, and it's highlighted on the People Daily, much as on the splash, it's fake jobs. The rotten agencies are robbing youths. We are taking advantage of desperate Kenyans. Entities charge those seeking opportunities upwards of 700,000 for jobs abroad, only to vanish into thin air. But more specifically, it's on page 3, just of course in relation to this conversation. Senate wants county revenue collection firms to be audited. Senators now want the Auditor General, Nancy Gathungu, to audit external revenue collection firms that counties have contracted to support their efforts to raise on-source revenues. Honorable Kitane, and you're touching on the on-source revenue. Counties have even given, or awarded tenders to, private companies to collect, revenue on their behalf. And in some cases, commissions are about 25–30% of the revenue they will collect, and they charge it at source.
And that is where we have a problem, because every government money, Kenya shilling belonging to the government, because whatever they collect as counties is government money. It is Wanjiko's money. It must hit the exchequer first before it goes to anybody else. So even that aspect of giving them percentages of at source is by itself is under the PFM Act is very wrong. The money has to first hit the Exchequer account, and then we have to go through a public procurement and disposal act process to be able to procure that service. It has to be competitive. If you're going to charge 30% for revenue, surely what other business do I need to do? I just need to sit down, go and help a county collect 2,000 shillings for every lorry that passes says, charge 100 shillings for every mama that sits in the market. Tell me how much money that is. We are creating billionaires from money that would have helped this same Wananchi you are collecting the money from. Because when you look at the money that is being collected, and that is where my issue is, and that's where we are asking, why do governors want more money when the money they are collecting is not actually helping that same Wananchi they are collecting the money from?
Honorable Shakil, in a county that collects about, let's say for Nairobi, 12 billion Kenya shillings as of the last financial year, then let's say offering 30% to the tax collector, a private entity that has been tasked with that mandate, that translates about 3 billion or 4 billion Kenya shillings. Is it time that there is a law to bar counties from outsourcing tax collectors?
There is a law. Follow the spirit of the law. The PFM and others, there is a law. But if you are now going to start sidestepping, and we might have to get a specific law. And that's where I expected the senators to come up with a law. You can't give collection to auctioneers. You know, this country has been taken, even the Nairobi City Council has been taken over by a gang of extortionists. I think I want to be very simple. And I want to tell you today, you know, I was offered to be the mayor of Nairobi in the year 2000 by the former president, the late President Kibaki himself, when I said I no longer want to be the mayor of Kisumu after the 2002. I turned it down. We had Magic Mwangi, we had so many people here. All of them were frustrated. The situation here is this county here, especially Nairobi, is under the threshold of this. It goes now to Kisumu, it even goes down to Nandi County, and it goes to many others. Because they've seen others getting away with it, they're doing this themselves. Because they don't, one of the critical factors, we had a committee of transition between the old county, the old system and the new system. The old system was there for 200 plus years, 100 here and maybe 300 in Britain where it came from. So that system of local government is not a new system. And it went back to 1066 in Britain when they sorted this out. So there was a system. So when we came in, everybody I left and my succeeding governors left were thrown out or left. And every governor brings their own set of people.
And also revenue collection systems.
And revenue collection systems, and they mess up these things. In our system, as bad as it was, the money was collected, was brought to the office of the supervisor of markets, for argument's sake, and councillors would be standing outside to be given their couple of thousand shillings. I know, I stopped it. But at least something was going in. So now there is nothing going in. I mean, for argument's sake, no, I want to be factual because I want to challenge some of these people. Kisumu City, we were collecting, when I was there, we started collecting about 100,000 shillings a day on just parking. That went up to 300,000-400,000 when you put it on a bonus system. So
without a tax collector.
Without a tax collector, what we did, we told those guys on the bottom, listen, if you meet the 30,000 shillings or 40,000, because your salary doesn't cover what you do. If you meet this, you'll be given a certain bonus at the end of the month from.
So you'd rather motivate the
yes, from your
staff.
Salary. So take it, put it in the main account. So we've accounted for it. You have made, so you got it, and then your 10% is given. But there must be they must depend on it. You can't put it in the main account and then the town treasurer or the person in charge says, we have no money, we can't pay you. it is a bonus that you have earned. It's
Well,
like your salary.
At that juncture, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll still be reviewing, of course, matters concerning finances and more specifically how President William Ruto spent or managed or performed in his maiden budget, that is a financial year 2023-2024, which the Controller report has just been released by last evening. At that juncture, we take a short